Alright, looks like it actually just started. I didn't mean to actually publicly start the stream, but here we are. Uh, did not mean to do that, but it seems like it's working. I need to check like mic quality and stuff real quick. Yeah, sounds like that's working fine. Right, so first stream, never done streams before. Oh god. Right. Okay, so I've posted a thing, what's it called? An announcement into the Discord and things like that. Oh god. Alright. Uh I'm very new to this. So why can I hear myself talking? There we go. Okay, I could hear I could hear myself talking there. Alright. Let's get the little dude up. That I got this little dude up. Look at that. He talks when I talk. Right, I've got Unreal Engine open, so let's just actually see if. Aha! Look at that. Beautiful. I am slowly learning how to do this streaming stuff. So today what I was mainly just working on was the castle level. I've also just been working on levels having their own variations. So we have the first level here, which normally will just have. Turn that off. Normally the first level is just, this. And I was like, there's only going to be like 7 levels in the game or something. So I was like, there's no point in. Well, it just get kind of boring watching and playing the same levels over and over again. So it's like, why don't I add the same theme level? As you can see here, it's the same theme, but it's a different level. So I'm just going to go through and do that for each level and kind of expand on it a bit. The first level I do kind of want to keep just simple. This one's a lot more hilly and almost like everything's on its own little island instead of just the flat that's the previous one. But for things like the city, I kind of want to make it like as if you're on the ground. Do you know what I mean? Why is that so low? Oh, there we go. I kind of want to make the city one like the first variation is on top of the building, and then the other one's going to be like below it. You know what I mean? Oh shit, hang on. I need to pull up chat on my phone. I still only have the one monitor. Pulling up chat on the phone's probably a good idea. Alright, there we go. Chat is on the phone. Necto said hi. Hello, Necto. welcome to the stream. Let me see, chat filter, all messages, there we go. Hello Nectar, welcome to the stream. We are currently not doing a lot. Yeah, currently not a lot is happening. Apple King, how am I? I'm good. How are you? How are you, Apple King? It's I haven't streamed very many times. I streamed maybe like 4 years ago because I did a Half-Life Alyx thing when that first released, and then since then nothing, because I don't really, I don't know, I can never find the time to actually do some streaming, but I'm free basically all day today. And I thought, why not do a nice little dev stream? But yeah, so let's, I really don't know what to work on first. I do want to add some new characters and such like as well. That'd be quite nice to work on. Although I can't figure out, whenever you open something in Unreal, it opens it in a new window. And I'm not really sure how to get that to pop up on stream. I think I kinda did. Kinda. I'm not sure. It'll just be annoying every single time I open a menu that I have to, you know, manually go in and, you know, open that up. I can give it a go. Actually, hang on. This is where having 2 monitors would be very helpful. Okay, let's see. Does that pop up on stream? It does. Cool. But it means I have to... It's annoying because I have to open this specific blueprint for it to pop up. But I guess that works. So close that. And does that close on there? Yes. So yeah, today's just going to be a lot of really just level making. It's like the game is mostly done. I just have to actually add the content in to, you know, do things in it. So yeah, like I said, this is the first level. You know, I want to keep the first level bare bones and simple, and then the second level is introducing that verticality, because it's a 3D, you know, Vampire Survivors type game. And people who come from those games won't probably be used to verticality because it's a 2D game. So this second level is trying to introduce that, and especially with these jump pads. And then the third level definitely needs some kind of overhaul, because I really just do not like the first level teaches you the basics, and then this level is just, you know, the first level with a reskin, because it's got some verticality. Like there's some tall cliffs here and there, but I don't know. But as for variations with this one, I really want to do pyramids, like either on top of a pyramid or inside one, or just something to do with pyramids, because that'd be like really cool. But yeah, and then the fourth level introduces well, it doesn't introduce, it just has the gimmick of lava pools and the entire thing being on an island. And if I quickly run the game and go run in one of these, actually does damage me. Well, if I sit in it, yeah, and it hurts. It hurts a lot as well. But you can actually trigger the boss and trick him to go in the lava, and because it deals 10% of your like overall health, it'll just kill him in like 10 hits. But the chest will obviously fall into the lava. Won't be destroyed, but you'll probably die trying to get it. So yeah. Do you need music? I don't know. See, I don't know what the normal things with streaming are. Do you have music in the background? Who knows? I will put the desktop sound on though. I don't know why that wasn't on. If stuff like the game and that's too loud, just let me know and I'll turn that down, because obviously I can't hear how loud it is in comparison with my voice. And then there's this level, which is almost like the city level with its like verticality, but it's hang on, why does that keep appearing? It's almost like the city level with verticality, but it's a lot more narrow. Like, as you can see, you'll easily fall off. But this level also has another gimmick. I've seen some streamers use wild music for background. Yeah, you know what? I've joined some streams before where people are just like playing dubstep and they're like, you know, playing Pokemon or something. Which, you know, it's to each their own. I don't know the rules about copyright and stuff with live streaming at all. Like, it's one of those things where I don't know what happens because, you know, do they copyright it while the stream is running, or is it after it's posted, or, you know, I'm not sure about that. I don't even know if YouTube streams have ads. I really hope not, because that is just, you know, quite annoying. Right, so for this, what does it say? Oh yeah, this stage has, like I said, an interesting mechanic. Let me turn this sound up a little bit. Yeah, this stage has an interesting mechanic, which is, oh my god, what's the button? Oh, it's this one, right? It has the interesting mechanic of when it wants to happen. Is it happening? It might just be taking it. There we go. Jesus. It drops bombs on you every so often. That's like the gimmick with the stage. And you know, it's something, you know. I do like it. It's an interesting thing. I wanted it. So what I wanted initially was there to be almost like bomb launchers around the stage. They spawn around the stage, and then you can go around to destroy them. But I just thought that was like a little bit more tedious. And also, I don't want you to be able to destroy them. I want the bombs to always be dropping. Like, even during the boss and everything, I want the bombs just to be dropping. And they're not that sporadic. They are easy to avoid. They're just kind of meant to, like, prevent you from just staying still. Because what I see a lot of people doing is they will get into a level, stay still, and just kind of idle. And I kind of want to, you know, push against that. Because it's well, what's that thing? It's like players will always try and optimize the fun out of games. So you just don't want that. You want to try and avoid that at any cost. Something I do actually need to fix is these boss monuments. I go find one in this stage. Yeah, oh, it's right there. Brilliant. These people manage to get on top of these, and then the enemies can't climb this very well. I mean, they can, but they, you know, it takes time, and you can kill them before they do that. So that's another thing I kind of want to focus on, is more ranged enemies and more enemies that can kind of jump or, you know, have some kind of, because the flying enemies are great, but they tend to, well, they tend to just kind of fall sometimes, and then, you know, just I need just more enemies that can do cooler things. If I think this will pop up on stream. Yeah. So if I go in my enemies folder, we've got, you know, quite a few. Some of them don't have icons yet. I have to like go through, and I should really make a better system for icons, but I go through and manually just make them. It takes like 10 minutes per one, but no, not even 10 minutes, like 5 minutes per one. But the two flying enemies we have this guy. They're both kind of like bug creature things. So we've got this guy who's a flying enemy, and then we also have this guy who's a flying enemy. And they both do the exact same thing. They both just move towards you at a certain speed. And that's it. I want, like, I don't know, maybe more unique movements. Maybe this guy does a weird dash or something, or this guy does a weird spin. You know what I mean? Something different other than, oh, it moves straight towards you. Because that's what every enemy in the game does right now. They all have the exact same movement, which is just walk towards the player. And if you bump into a wall, go up. That's it. Although it's a lot better than it was. You used to be able to stand right next to a wall, and enemies will just kind of go over the top of you and up the wall and things like that. What if the mosquito has life drain? Because you know mosquitoes. Yeah. See, I want enemies. That's a see. I really like ideas like that. It's amazing. I'm thinking of redoing my item system so that enemies can have items, and then I would give like the flying bug the leech knife, which you know takes health when you damage things. Another thing, I need to organize these folders as well. The whole thing's just a bit of a mess at the moment. Another thing I have is these buffs, which I need to make more of, but in this game, enemies, when they spawn in, have a random chance to have buffs, which, you know, gives them different things. So the elite one will make them twice as big and deal double damage and have double health. Elemental makes them explode with a different elemental effect when they die. Golden makes them made of gold and they drop more gold. That's that. Metallic just gives them more health. Infused just makes them explode like a bomb. But the quirk with all these is that they can combine and they mix their effects together. So the elite has double size, which means this elemental explosion will be double the size and double the damage and, you know, all that fun stuff. And that's one of the other gimmicks with the game was just that. So you could have an enemy that will have all of these buffs. Another little quirk with it as well is these buffs give health increases naturally anyway. So if I actually open, let's say we open the golden one, and we ignore the spaghetti code, but if we go into the class defaults, there's health bonus here, and that just adds a percentage of health on top. So the golden enemies have 25% more health. And the metallic enemies, if we go in here, these have 2. And their buff name is actually still golden. Interesting. I must not have changed that. That's really interesting. Because this one was just one I took off the gold enemies. Wow. Well, that's in the demo version then. Is the metallic enemies being named wrong? Yeah. Right. I'm gonna look at getting some music up then. Because I got completely distracted by bugs there. Right. So I found a it's the ones I tend to see on streams are the Nintendo ones. Yeah, you know what? Let's put the Nintendo ones on. All right, how loud is that compared to my voice? Is that like insanely loud? I'm just waiting for someone to say. I mean, I don't hear it. Oh, amazing. Hang on. Did that work? Maybe if I put this higher. Alright, that'll be really loud. Can you hear that? How do I get this to play? I don't hear it still. How do I get this to play? What's going on? I actually, oh my god, I should really learn more about how to stream before I do it. I wonder if I can set up a. Oh, hang on, I have an idea. I can probably set up a browser source. Open. Right. And then can I just shot a YouTube link onto this? Is that how that works? Okay, that's gonna be really loud. Ah, I can't click that. I can't click that. It's on a. How am I supposed to click that? It's got ads. I'm not doing that. That's not doing that, dude. There's no way. I just want to play music. Why is this? Why is this doing this? Uh, right, capture desktop audio. Right. I am once again giving it a go. Alright. Anything from that? First time experience is always unforgettable. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear the music now? Yeah, brilliant. Is it loud or like... Oh, the chat's on screen. That decided to... Has that always been there, the chat on screen? Where did that chat come from? Oh, weird. I didn't even know I had that in this. It's very off-centered. I'll put it there. Well, if it gets in the way. Alright, how loud is that music compared to my voice? I'll put it like this. Is that too quiet now? Alright, I'll put the music down to maybe about there. Did that actually turn it down though? That's such an annoying part of the song. Let's, what's this? Alright, that's better, I guess. Maybe a bit too smaller. Alright, let me turn that back up then. Alright, I mean, it looks like my voice is... I can kind of see the little green things when I speak. Alright. Better? Because what I'll do is I'll just figure out the perfect settings right now to stream and then just leave it and never touch it ever again. Like, honestly. This is a cool song. You know what? I kind of wanted to listen to Sonic Unleashed songs because they are so good. Right, let's get back to actually doing stuff. So yeah, like I said, we've got these flying enemies, and then every other enemy in the game is just walk towards you. Bosses are a little bit different. They have special attacks which do different things. So like this guy can shoot spikes and throw his sword and things like that. You know. I wish I didn't have to, you know, I want like the music in the background for the stream, but me having to listen to it is painful. Like really, Okay, so what are we gonna do with the level? Not a clue. I think I just like I need to decorate the level. I kind of think this is the shape for it I want to go with. I'm quite happy with it. I've already started putting like little lamps everywhere. Is the audio way louder for you than on stream? Probably. I can't. The thing is, I can't hear how loud it is on stream. I just have to have everything kind of like loud-ish on my side, and then I can change it in Streamlabs, but when I change it in Streamlabs, it doesn't actually change it for me. It's really annoying. I should have just kept OBS. I can't remember why I even bothered with Streamlabs. But I think I fixed the audio. It sounds a little bit better on my end now. Right, so I do have quite a few like models and stuff downloaded, and I think I did have a dungeon. Can't you check on your on your phone? Watch this stream. Oh, that's a good idea actually. Hang on. Oh, that's a good idea actually. Right, I'm just trying to see how loud this sounds on mine compared to this. Right, the music could be a tiny bit quieter. Something I actually should look at is getting the music to duck whenever I'm speaking. I will have to look at that at another point though. Right, I'll keep the music at like -10 or something, just to kind of, you know. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Can I make this auto duck? No, that's not a thing in this. Brilliant. Alright, that's enough messing with the stream. I'm just gonna leave it how it is. Just leave it like that. Yeah, so I do have a few dungeon assets, but no, those aren't the good ones. They are... I need to organize stuff. It's not in there. Is it in objects? Yeah, dungeon assets. So I have a ton of dungeon assets, which may or may not work for this. So things like this, if I grab this material and try just slap it onto that kind of works, I think. No, it's too thingy. It's too big. What if I double the size? I don't know, that just doesn't really look right. It's because it's the floor and then... let's make a blue brick. I'm just going to quickly do this. Because maybe this will look a bit nicer. But then again, it might just look the exact same, just blue. Right, let me check. Alright, stream chat is working. Yeah, so I've got tons of models here. New map? Yeah, this is the castle one. I think I showed the gimmick earlier, but the gimmick is that bombs are always dropping on you. Currently we're just trying to decorate it and make it not look like a bunch of blocks all slapped together, even though that is what it is. I'm just looking through, I've got a bunch of models here, but I'm not really sure which one to use. Because these aren't, like, this is more a castle, and these are more dungeon, you know what I mean? Like underground dungeon assets, but... I'm convinced I can get this barrier to work, although... what if I put it at like 1.5? And then let's get the blue brick on that. Well, that doesn't even look any different. No, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that one. It might just be better off just being Like, I also don't want there to be a barrier there, actually, because otherwise you can just never fall in. But as for things like, I don't know, maybe banners and stuff on the wall. I can't remember what material these actually use. Is it just dungeon? Dungeon assets. Ah, that's blue. Did not expect that to be blue. Why is that blue? Ah, because it's called blue, right. Red. It's not a... You would expect the triple banner one to be like different colours. Like all of them being different colours. But we shall cope. Huh. How do these work? How do work? Like that? That doesn't seem right, because shouldn't those be like in the wall? I have no idea. It'll probably just be a case of just looking through. Although barrels, they would be really good actually. Let me just give these a material. Barrels are not a bad idea. There we go. The barrel is coloured. Well done, barrel. Okay. Yeah, let's just shot a shit ton of barrels everywhere. Oh, there's a decorated barrel actually as well. I mean, it's just the same thing with loads of shit shoved in it. There is a small barrel, a stack of barrels. Why is that so tiny? A torch. Oh, I don't know. This is a lot of... Oh, there's tables. We need tables. Just, obviously, along the top of your castle, you're going to have tables. Like, come on. I actually just need to go in and give all these materials. Because I didn't do it earlier. So we got the table. What else? Got the barrels. We've got stacks of coins. Not too interested. Nothing like a game of cards while guarding the castle. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, we've got something here. Oh, that's kind of nice. Like, these are the assets I like. Is there any more? There's a chair. That's tiny. What on earth? Let's see how tiny that actually is. Holy shit. Oh, you know what? No, that's actually more player size, really. It just looks tiny. That's a huge table. Alright, let's get in and edit the material for it. Yeah, so that would be for that. Anything else? Box? I didn't really like the box model. I don't think it really fits the aesthetic for it. I do like the barrels. Candles. Again, not too sure if I'll use them. And then the rest are kind of just for, you know, actual dungeons. Like, you know, there's stuff like this, but I don't really have a use for them. So yeah, I'd say for decorating, I'm going to stick with these ones. Maybe the torch. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, I kind of want... I don't know, because do you imagine... Like, this is the fog. There is a lot of fog in this level. is one of the levels where you actually really can't see the most. So yeah, let's actually start placing stuff. So the first place I want to put stuff is up here. I was thinking about it earlier. I wanted like a table with just a couple chairs. Oh, there's decorated tables. Hold on. Let me put a material on this guy. Okay, that's 2 decorated. Is there like an in-between? No, but there's a table with a cloth. Yeah, see, that's 2 decorated for me. I can't imagine anyone sat on top of a castle having a like 5-course meal. Where was the chair? There it was. So yeah, we'll have a couple chairs up here. Like so. I also need to make sure it's not in... there's a chest. A chest might spawn on the table, and that is perfectly fine. That's funny, actually. And then let's just shut down a couple... no, this one. Shut a couple of bottles on the table. Oh, yeah, do that. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, something I don't understand about YouTube chat that people will have to explain is I don't know what the top fans things mean. Like, I don't know what XP or anything means. It's a very... Like I said, that was... Like, when I streamed a few years back, that wasn't a thing, I don't think. It's very new. I don't recognize it. But I'm like a boomer. Something new. Just, like, completely hate it. Yeah, I thought it would be like talking in chat, but it doesn't seem like it because... Yeah, I don't understand that. Oh wait. Yeah, so it says here, how do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points. Here's how you earn them. Send live chat messages. I have no idea. How odd. I think for the next stream, I'm definitely going to work on my own playlist because that's definitely a good idea. There's a lot of Sonic music that I want to include that currently is not in this Nintendo playlist for some reason. Right. I don't want to over-decorate the level though. I don't want to make it like look insanely weird with just loads of shit all scattered around. That's like the issue that the city level has, is that it doesn't really make sense where stuff are. Although I will put a bunch of barrels here because can't. Something I'm kind of hoping with the barrels is they don't get mistaken as like stuff you can interact with. Another thing that I had a big issue with playtesters was either they didn't realize that pots are breakable. So like if I simulate it, yeah, they didn't realize that pots were breakable. They just kind of thought, oh, that's part of the level aesthetic. Or people tried to break stuff like the barrels. The pots kind of stand out. Everything that you can interact with has this almost like a glow behind it. I don't know if you can really see it here, but everything has this glow behind it. You know, you can see it here with the hand, although this is glowing blue. Whereas these don't have that glow because they're just props in the scene. You know, this, does that have it? I can't really tell. It should have it. Does it have it? That's got me curious now. Weapon Shrine. It doesn't have it. Alright. That's something to add to the list. Chests have it as well though, or they should. Yeah, they do. You can see it there. Just, it makes it stand out more. All the characters also have it, as you can see here. It's more noticeable in dark levels, but there's like a glow around the player, just makes it stand out. It's the same with all the enemies. Helps them to pop out against the background, because, you know, with a game with so many things that are flying around and, you know, just so much clutter, it's nice to kind of see what's important. I might add a simplifier further, kind of like Ultra Kill has, where it'll make the enemies like a solid color, things like that, just to kind of lower the clutter a bit, because it really gets crazy later on. It's one of the reasons the game has not that many levels, like in a single run, because it just gets to a point where the game isn't fun and it's just an insane amount of projectiles and you get one hit killed. That's more for people who are looping the runs rather than obviously just doing the one run. Which kind of happens in other games as well, like Risk of Rain 2. After so many loops, the game just gets too insane to even keep up with. I was happy about the game is running really well on the Steam Deck. You know, getting, what is it, 90 FPS, it's getting the full 98 FPS. Very happy about that, because I didn't really optimize that well for the Steam Deck. So, we are gonna keep decorating the level. Where did... Oh, there. I was like, where did all my decorations go? They're over here. I always get distracted. This is why nothing gets done. This is why nothing gets done. Too easily distracted by random things. There's a bed here. Do people sleep on top of castles like this? Possibly. Another thing, I don't want the decoration to just turn into, like, again, just random shit scattered around. But with levels like this, it's just hard not to do that. So yeah, when I was like deciding to stream, something I was looking at was like, do I use YouTube or Twitch? I'm still not entirely sure which to use, like, generally for streaming. You know, I already have somewhat of an audience on YouTube, whereas Twitch it would be like completely starting from the beginning, which, you know, is always a pain. So yeah, it was just that decision of which one to use. Because at the end of the day, to me, they're both just something I can stream game dev on and talk to people. But you know, I'm unsure of which one does that better. Obviously, I feel like Twitch might, but then again, I don't like the Twitch UI or anything. You know, maybe it's my YouTube brain, because YouTube is very simplified in everything. But it's just like Twitch confuses me. Right. Okay. See, again, I'm running into the thing of just shot shit anywhere. Because that's essentially all you do, is just like, you know, put random stuff, random places. I should really develop a blueprint that'll, you know, do stuff like randomizing the rotation and stuff for me, but I will do that at some other point. It's not really that big of a deal yet. It tends to get to a big deal. What if you had windows on some walls? Yeah, see, I was thinking about that. because in here it actually has like different things like this. So if I go, or if I even go here, actually, how does that look? You know what? That's not that bad, actually. Let me just brick castle. Okay, that's not as great. I'll obviously have to go in and texture that properly. That doesn't look as great as I thought. You know what? That's not too bad. And then I'd put like a bit of yeah, that just needs to be textured different, obviously. But I do like that. That's a good idea. I'm trying to think. It's obviously something I'd have to go in and model. Although what I would, literally all I would do is, you know, go into Blender and add that, and then just, to be honest, I could probably do it in here actually. I don't even need to go into Blender. And then, do I have any just like, there we go. I would just do that. I would have this properly, maybe this does actually, I'm being silly and not, that doesn't fit, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to go in and texture that myself. How often do we want these windows? Okay. Slightly better idea. Make it a little bit... No. Why is it doing that? More and few apart. I'm trying to think if it would be better to have it all 3D like this, or to make a material that'd do it. Wait, I have... Oh, hang on. I have something somewhere. I did something like this before. I have a decal somewhere. I won't be able to find it now. I had like a decal where I could almost paint on windows to stuff. But yeah, this is kind of what I had in mind for it. That's... put this at 2. Yeah, ignore these colors. This is all definitely getting... What if I put a... No, not that one. Definitely not that one either. Right. Let's just keep it as that. But yeah, the idea is... A little bit, yeah, it's a little bit better. I just don't know how performant it's going to be to have all of these models. I do get what you mean. I'm just trying to think of the best way to do it. Because yeah, that would look really good actually. It would make it look less like a wall and more of an actual building. I'm just trying to think of how to go about that. the best way would to be to not have all this, like all this on the outside, but the grating bit in here and then that black background. That's definitely the way to go with it. It makes it look 3D. It's like, oh, there's almost like a room in there, but it's actually just, you know, nothing. So that's definitely the way to go. I'll leave that there so I remember, because I will get insanely distracted. But I'll go through and I'll model like the inside bit of the wall. And that way I know how many polygons and things are in it, so it's not gonna be too insanely performant. This level needed quite a few things to be performant. First thing is, these lights, there are a lot of them. Like if I turn this off, there's a lot of them. And because of the fog, you can't actually see that far away. So what I did was, the lights all fade in. So there's really only like 10, you know, 10 at a time. But to make them even more performant, they don't cast shadows. Because I think the game does a good job anyway of figuring out where the shadows are. And then also there's this giant, you know, fog effect. But I think the game does really good, like Unreal Engine does well at, you know, knowing that this side should be lit, this side shouldn't. That's, you know, that doesn't have any shadows on it. That's just the way the game renders light. So it doesn't look that bad. I think this uses the same, most lights in this game just don't cast shadows because they don't need to. And with that, you could have an insane amount of lights with no performance loss, really. It's pretty much just coloring a surface. So we've got barrels here. Another thing I have to remember as well with decorating the levels, chests and stuff will spawn in when the level starts, like I'll show you now. So there's already kind of stuff around. So you don't want to add too much because then it becomes too cluttered. So I think I'll just add a few more bits of decoration. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the easiest thing to do on stream is just levels, really. Because when you get more into like the programming and the blueprint and stuff, it tends to be a whole lot of not talking because, you know, you're trying to, you know, use your brain to do some coding. Whereas with mapping, you know, I used to do mapping streams for Half-Life Alyx a while ago. And with those, you genuinely can just turn your brain off and, you know, talk to chat and just make the level. But I don't know, with programming, I have to like... I know some people like programming in like Discord calls and things like that, but I need to be in like almost complete silence. I don't even listen to music. We will put another table here, you know, right on the edge there. Let me check. I wonder what even, you know, like the XP stuff? I wonder what the point of that is, or is it just literally like, you're on a leaderboard, well done. You know what I mean? Because I know Twitch has so many things for like leveling up. What if there's just a random bench on one of the edges? That's a good idea, actually. You mean like, just kind of like this? Just... I can't get over how tiny these look. These look so small, but they like are proportionally correct to the characters. It's insane. Right. We got a chair on the edge. I kind of want to... Those keys are huge! Okay, I was talking proportionally correct, but look how big this keychain is compared to this chair. What is this? Something I do want to do is, because this is getting closer to like the end, like this level's getting kind of closer to the end of the game. I want you to be able to almost see the castle in the distance in previous levels, but then it doesn't make sense because all these levels take place on different planets. Like, it was something that I wanted to do to kind of connect the levels together, but they don't really connect together because they are all on different planets. So, you know, I mean, that might change anyway. That's like, the lore of the game is not anywhere near coherent yet. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like slightly put together. There we go. It is something that I want to work on, the lore, but it's just like, it's not high on my list of priorities right now. And it will just end up being a mashup of whatever media I'm interested in at the time. Like, for instance, the portals that take you to the next level. I was watching Stargate while I made this, and I was just like, oh, I want some kind of portal in my game, so I just added it. So yeah, most things that get added, it just depends on what I'm watching or reading or whatever at the time. I also want to keep an eye out for chests and stuff spawning inside props, because as I'm going around and placing them, I might accidentally place one of these like over the top of that, and it'll cry about it. We had a lot of tree chests in earlier versions because of that bug. Because I initially wanted I wanted the game to use the nav mesh it generates to, so you can see all the green bit, that's like the nav mesh. I wanted the game to use this to place objects, but I found it really annoying because I couldn't be specific about where. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, anywhere that's green, and there's no green over here. Yeah, it's just, oh, anywhere that's green, which, you know, is a little bit annoying when you want to be a little bit more specific about it, or you want to exclude places without having to get rid of the nav mesh and things like that. So I settled on this bubble thing where a chest can spawn, or like any interactable spawns. It chooses one of these bubbles, spawns it randomly inside the bubble, and then destroys itself. Well, destroys the bubble. And I like it. I can be specific and vague at the same time, so it's like anywhere within the bubble, essentially, is where something can spawn. A good example would be, I'm trying to think now. Well, let's just take a look at nav meshes on all the levels in general. So on this level, I got rid of up here. So up here doesn't have a nav mesh anywhere, but it's little bits like this. You know, a chest could spawn on that, and that's, you know, very out of reach. So, you know, being specific about it allows me, it also allows me to just make, almost like, you can get used to the levels in a way. So I know there's one guy who's been playing for a while, and he knows the like general locations of where chests spawn and where stuff spawns, and it kind of, you know, lets that bit of skill in, and it's not completely random. It's the reason I didn't really use procedural generation, is that it's too crazy and random, and it's not, you know what I mean? It's hard to get it to, you know, it's hard to playtest proceduralness, because it's like, you could get a run that's just like the fuck you run, you know what I mean? It's like the, you're not making it past the first level run because of a slight bug, or, you know, just something. So that's why I kind of like, you know, I handcraft the levels, but I go through and you know, the items and stuff that spawn, everything like that's procedural, but the levels themselves and a lot of the locations are different. It picks a random one as well. It's not like, oh, a chest will always spawn here. It's like, I'll show you. So, okay, in this one we got a pot. Got nothing that time. I think that might have been a chest from it. It's, you know, it's random, so the levels do look different every time. Let's take this area, for example. So we got a few pots and a trader. We got quite a few pots and a trader and 2 chests. We got 2 chests and then a large chest. Roguelike do be like that sometimes. Yeah. It's very hard to well, it's very hard to balance a roguelike, I found, because there's just so much playtesting involved. You know, it's also trying to cater for, I know some people who play the game who are really into the like end game bit where you're like 30 stages in and you're insanely overpowered. It's trying to balance for that, but then also balancing for the guy who just wants to do 7 levels. And you know, to playtest to see if I balance the guy who's at stage 40, I'm gonna have to play for like 2 hours, and it just takes a lot of time out of you know, everything you do. But yeah, here's something. The game was gonna have a hub world at some point that was gonna be a giant ship, and I kind of gave up on that because the game was going to have almost like a level select. It wasn't going to be like a roguelike at first. It was going to have a level select, and you were going to do that in here. So this would have been the main menu. There wasn't a main menu at the time. And this was going to be the main menu, and you could come in here and you know, check out the logbook, change character, things like that. And now it does nothing. It's just here because it's like a remnant. I think that the first tutorial level is also just still here. It's so out of date. It's unbelievable. Let's check it out real quick. Let's check this out. Oh, my bad. Right, let's check it out. Not only it assumes you still have the old camera settings, so everything doesn't fit into these rooms, because the camera used to be like, honestly, the camera used to be like so zoomed in like this, so I zoomed it out. And then we have the Sonic. Could you tell I was playing Sonic at the time? We have these different hint rings. And it was basically just like a super simple tutorial. But it didn't have anything like the dash or anything like that. This was like pre-dash. This was very early on. Character automatically attacks. Well, I don't have a weapon. Killing an enemy gives you experience. These allow you to level up. Every weapon has upgrades. No, they don't. Not anymore. That's items. So you can kind of see the progress I was going with the game. You could level up your items. You could level up your items, not your items, your weapons here, like by killing enemies. And then I started adding items, and it just devolved into, okay, get rid of weapon upgrades because items do the same thing. Yeah, I wonder if this still takes me to the first level. It does. Look at that, brilliant. Nothing like looking at your roots. Yeah, well, I keep all of the old game builds. And I mean like all of them. All the way back to like literally the first, well, whenever I built them really. I keep all of them. Just because I like documenting things. I like, you know, being able to just look back at that. You know, we have the old torch effects and all this stuff here. And this doesn't get built into the final game anyway, like this level isn't included, so it's not bloating file size or anything, so there's no downside to keeping it. It goes for a lot of things. Like I have this sandbox level that does not get put into the final game, and it's just more for me to, you know, dick about it. Look at this. I have every item here. Oh, that's the new legendary item effect, by the way, is that they are on fire. I'm still debating it. I think I might make the fire a little bit less, but it makes them more important because, you know, they tend to kind of just look like a regular item, and they're not a regular item. They're like insanely overpowered. Like, look at my health right now. You know what I mean? Something else I've been working on. I think a lot of this stream is actually just going to be looking at stuff, to be honest, because I realize I don't really put that much stuff about the game. Cursed items is something I've been working on. It's a green item that has like an insanely good upside, but also an insanely like terrible downside. So the best example I have to just explain it is there's an idea I had was increases your damage by 100%, but increases the damage that you take by 100%. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it has a trade-off. I just wanted to add it because it adds a bit more. You can make a lot more unique builds with it. Like that one, for instance, is the glass cannon build. Insanely high damage, but you'll die. I also added the effect to the boss chests as well. Someone mentioned, oh, I'm always missing the boss chests. So I was like, fuck it, make it on fire, that'll work. And the fire effect is just, I think I had like a particle effect from somewhere, and I was just like, make it purple, make it red, make it green. Because I can't lie, I'm not too good at particle effects. I can get like basics done, but the more complicated stuff I don't really know how to do. But yeah. We've been live for over an hour. Amazing. I don't know how long people usually stream for. Because I like, people do this like 8 hours a day. I am exhausted already from it. I don't understand. Some game for 12 hours. See, I could probably game for 12. I could probably game for 12 hours, to be honest. Yeah, I've seen some people who only stream for maybe a couple hours. I can't lie, I'll probably be one of those because this takes it out of me. But yeah, it's nice to stream though. I don't like, you know, it's one of those things where you don't remember how nice it is until you start getting back into it. I do want to do it more because it's a great way of, you know, connecting with an audience. Really, it's good. But it's just it's the initial trying to get people to actually watch, which is always a bit of a nightmare. I always remember that being a nightmare when I used to stream years ago. Like, it's just getting more and more people. Right. So let's go back onto the castle level. I got completely distracted by... I don't even know what I can't remember what I got distracted by that time, actually. Right. Okay. I just realized there's no bubble here. It's not like the end of the world, but why? Probably just missed it. yeah, there's like nothing here either. I try not to have big areas that don't have items because then there's no point in that area existing. But I think this is, for what I want to do now anyway, this is pretty much the decorations. Looking at spawn mesh. Oh yeah. Alright. Yeah, so this is pretty much decorated. Like it's the start of it anyway. I'll obviously go and, you know, properly do it, and then I'll make some models for these windows because these look fucking awful right now. I might even just use this as a block out, take this entire level into Blender, and just fully model it out. That might be a much better idea than leaving it like this fucking Minecraft first build looking thing. And it'll let me actually put on 3D windows and stuff. So yeah, that's probably a better idea than what I'm doing currently, which is just this. It's, like I said, it's an issue the city level has, where it just looks so like half finished. You know what I mean? It could probably do with getting dragged into Blender and fully being remade. Like, I like the background. The background's cool. Like if I hit simulate, this is a cool level. I got a review for the game, right? One of the reviews was, why is it called Nocturnal Throne if half of the game takes place during daytime? And I was like, holy shit, you're right. You're so right. So I went in and I removed a couple of the daytime levels because I was like, no, the game is themed after night, not fucking daytime. So yeah, I went in and removed, but I like this one. This one I really like, so it's staying. But there is a night theme for it as well. Themes are another thing. I wanted to add variety without adding more content for the demo because I was just kind of in a rush. So I was like, give levels different variations in theme, and that's that. So it's kind of like a smaller version of the system I'm working on right now, where it's different levels. It was just simple. It's just swap the skybox out. Like I'll show you here. So we've got the two skyboxes here. We've got variant A and variant A2. It's meant to be B. But it easily just lets me swap it out in game. So if I click simulate, it'll just pick a random one. Yeah. So the first level actually used to have. For its variation, it used to have a sunset theme, but now it has this bluey night theme, and then it has like a stormy theme with like lightning and shit in the sky. So yeah, it adds just you know, a little bit more variation to it. It looks nice when they are a bit completely different, and then on top of that, it will use the different levels thing. Where it'll use a random level from here. So you know, it adds a bit more variety because, again, one thing I had was people would play the game once and then really have no incentive to play again. You know what I mean? When it's more one of those games that you play endlessly, you know, like not endlessly, but you know, it's like there's an end goal, which is make it to the final level, but you can loop and things like that, and it makes it a lot more fun, and it's trying to encourage that. And I think it's very discouraging when the game suddenly shots them back into the first level. So if it shots them back into the first level, but it's slightly different, that might be a bit, you know, more comforting. Because this demo has an insane amount of content. Well, not an insane amount, but it has a lot. Like if I go over to my logbook here, let me just really quickly because I don't want to reveal anything. Well, not reveal anything. I don't want to, you know. Right, logbook. Let's look in here. So we've got, you know, we've got 21 challenges in the game. We have 12 weapons, and then we have 35 items. So it is a bit this, you know, it's trying to avoid people from just playing the game once for like 20 minutes and then leaving it, because there is a lot of stuff to get, there is a lot of stuff to do, and it's just getting over that like initial hurdle of that. That's the biggest problem at the moment. Something I try to do to mitigate it, I will show. Let's say let's just pick up a weapon. Let's get enough to open a chest. Right. So when I discover a new item, so in here I've discovered the lighter, so it'll pop up in here and I can read about it. If I quit to menu, this actually shows new now. Nobody was clicking on the logbook, so hopefully this new icon will make people click on it and go in and have a look at what the fuck this is. It seems like these two buttons are completely invisible. Like there's a bunch of gameplay settings too. We have like longer item descriptions, which, you know, does how it sounds. We've got different hit sounds, so I've got like, you know, you can have them turned off if they're just annoying. There's bonk, there's retro, XP sounds, damage numbers, camera distance, field of view, screen check. You know, I added all this because it's like, you know. And then as for characters, we've got all these guys. Let me just go in and give myself. I have a secret cheat button which will give me every quest in the game done. Right. Oh, hang on. My PC is shitting bricks. It's sad. I need to upgrade my PC because I don't know what's happened to it, but it's just dying. It's slowly caving in. Looks like my phone is gonna die. That's fun. That's always great. I'd say on Lockables already give a lot of replay. Yeah, it's just so the issue is, it's not that there's a lack of replayability, it's there's a lack of me telling people that there is. Do you know what I mean? Like in game. So that logbook thing, this new icon, definitely had a few more people click on it. But with this leaderboard, I can see all the stats on the leaderboard from, you know, Steam. And there's a surprising amount of people who, you know, boot the game, go on to the first stage, kill like 5 enemies, and die, and then quit. And I know they die because for the leaderboard to be updated, you have to die in the current demo build. But it's, you know, it's I really wish I could see what these people are doing to see where, you know, where it's going wrong, so I can, you know, fix it. Because unfortunately with game dev, it's a lot of just guessing what people are going to assume and trying to point them in the correct direction. For instance, I added, you can see down here on the bottom right, I added what button you press for each ability because I don't trust that, I'd remember what button to press for each ability. If I just popped it up on screen, told them, and then never showed them again, you know, I would not trust myself to remember. So I just, you know, added it underneath. Same goes for when you hover over a chest or anything interactable. It will say E and then use weapon shrine. And then if you have a controller, it'll, you know, obviously tell you the controller button. But it's just trying to assume where people are going to get stuck before anyone really plays it. It's trying to assume where people get stuck and adding countermeasures for it. And then when people playtest, they'll get stuck on something you completely didn't even predict. And that's just part of game development, really. That's just how it is. I'm going to try and get chat popped out. Let me see if that's a thing I can do. I can. Oh, but I can't keep it on top. I also don't like that YouTube does top chat, and then you have to click out of the menu and into something else to see all the actual messages. That's annoying. So thank you for that, YouTube. I will be right back. I'm going to put my phone on charge so that I don't have to worry about it not being on charge. Suggestion, what if there's an end result screen that also shows progression towards achievements? Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Currently, what the end screen shows is achievements you beat in that run. And on your first run, you'll probably get like 5 achievements, because a lot of them, there's quite a few that are really easy for that purpose, to kind of be like, by the way, there's achievements, you got one for killing 10 enemies. So, you know, it's just... The logbook was definitely something that's existed since the Steam demo came out, but whenever I see someone playtest, I don't actually see them use it, so, you know. This music's awesome. I don't know if the music's as loud anymore. I don't have my phone to check anymore. That shit died. I do want to add a button to the pause menu actually to give up, because someone mentioned how annoying it is that you will like get stuck somewhere and can't die. So now you literally can't upload your score to the leaderboard because you have to die to do it. So I was like, if I had a give up button, or like a, you know, it will just kill you and then it will get uploaded to the scoreboard no matter what. A guy found a bug the other day where he jumped off one of the buildings and it just soft locked the entire game. He was like 40 levels in or something. Soft locked his entire game. He couldn't open the pause menu, he couldn't do anything. So that was definitely an interesting bug. Yeah, I'm gonna look into what this XP stuff does. What does the XP even do? I don't understand. I think it just gives you a badge. I think that's it. Yeah. Brilliant. Let's get back into actually doing shit for the game. I'm not really sure what to do. I need to start making a checklist. That's what I need to do. I need to make a checklist so I know what to actually do. By the way, I opened my window. Is it like really loud or not? I really can't tell. Probably just show, hey, this dude's going nuts in your chat. Probably. Yeah, probably. I think you get 25 XP per message. Or you're meant to. I'm gonna quickly Google why some people don't. There's literally nothing about not getting the XP. I don't know why that's happening. There's, I have no idea. Timestamps. There's a lot of stuff you can do in the chat. Yeah, I just don't think YouTube Live is as... It doesn't have as many features that Twitch has. Like, it doesn't have... what's it called? Like, I saw a thing, Twitch bosses or something, where people can do shit to kill bosses or play games and stuff, and it's just like, that shit blows my mind, because YouTube would never... It would never have anything like that. I don't think YouTube's streaming focused anyway. It's just kind of like a bonus that YouTube has. It's like, oh, by the way, you can live stream on YouTube, I guess. I know a lot of people do it as like almost like a backup stream. Okay, so something I did want to do, I wanted to add more lava pools to this level, because there is currently just the one, which is there. I kind of want one here. Yeah, so let's get rid of these two chest locations. Move that there. I hope that doesn't spawn on top of the tree. It might. Who knows? We might have another tree chest. Right, so the way I'm making these is grabbing the erosion. Okay, that's... brush size is huge. It's just grabbing the erosion and, well, eroding. I don't know, that this doesn't really give me the almost like a islandy feel with it, but it is what it is, I guess. Okay, and then all I can do really is steal this one and put it up here. Yeah, and now I can actually do this properly. I think it's because I smoothen it, really, that makes it look awful. Make this a bit lower, actually. We'll have it about there, maybe. Yeah. Actually, no, a bit lower. Cool. Yeah, I just wanted a couple more lava pools because, you know, the level's all about lava, and it's kind of easy to not fall off the edge. I had some ideas for variations of this level, which was just like lava falls and things like that. You know what I mean? I think 2 lava pools is fine. This level also has the crashed spaceship, which you can unlock that character with. I wanted a character that you could unlock by interacting with someone in a level, so I was like, crash ship. Fun fact as well, let's go on to the first level, click simulate, and just kind of look up and keep an eye out for stuff where, I promise it, something will appear. There, spaceship. Kind of, you know, connects things. Although there is a lot of spaceships. This planet is going to be used as almost like a I can't even remember what it's called, but it's where all these ships pass through to kind of get to other places. like a refueling station almost, and that's what this planet would be used for. Because like I said, all the different levels are different planets. That's what this does. It takes you through. And the monument here contains the address that you need to get to the next planet. You know, stuff like that. Is a level gimmick that the lava sometimes rises or appears all around? No, but I don't know. I kind of wanted something like that. That could be one of the variations, like maybe a lava cave where the lava levels rise. But I think the whole gimmick was just, instead of having a void or a wall or something, it's just a massive lava ocean. I think that was the gimmick with this level. I want more like lava gimmicks, honestly, in the level. But for like a rising lava thing, that'd be cool in like a cave or something. I don't know if you ever played Sonic Heroes, but that one segment with that lava that rises is exactly what I'm almost like thinking of with it. Right. Also, I realized there is not many chest bubbles over here. I'm not sure why. The main menu as well, another interesting level that exists. In the main menu, there's a bunch of characters, and the ones that you unlock appear in the menu. Oh, look at that floating tree up there. Amazing. But yeah, the main menu is just this little bit here. It was a copy and paste of, I literally think, like one of the first levels that I made. Like the early versions. It was just a copy and paste, that's why there's floating shit all over here. But I don't think these actually render in, so it doesn't really matter. Over here is where you select your character, and then over here is the, you know, just the main menu. There's the camera for that. But anyway, these will only appear if this character object down here is unlocked. So yeah. Main menu. So every time I add a new character, I just slap them somewhere here. But I am getting a little bit worried that there isn't enough room here for all of them. Because I think I'm planning on around maybe 20 characters. So it's definitely going to be a bit of fun trying to get them all to, you know, fit. I'm quickly going to check. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 right now, which means there are 12 more characters that need to be added. Which is fun, because it means... well, it's like all the weapons in the game belong to a character, essentially. Or most of them do. I developed a lot of the weapons first before characters, so... Stuff like this, the missile wand, doesn't actually have a character yet. Same with the axe, that doesn't have a character. Wisps don't and Zapatron don't, so I could make a character for them quite easily. But then with new characters, I'd have to come up with new weapons. Because I want 20 weapons, 20 characters sounds reasonable. I could even add more weapons after that. It really... my main issue with weapons is trying to get them to feel different and not just using a different projectile with different stats. I think in the game right now, most weapons are functionally different. Maybe except for the blaster, which just shoots a super fast, basically hit scan projectile. The boomerang, that's unique because that's almost like a boomerang. The daggers aim at whatever you're shooting at. The bats follow enemies, don't destroy when they hit stuff, and they just damage them over time, but also heal you when they do that. This is identical to the water wand, except it sets stuff on fire and shoots slower. This is literally called garlic because it's the Vampire Survivors garlic. Pretty much. It's not actually called garlic in game though. But again, this is just a field around you that damages shit. This like slashes in front of you. This just launches a missile that chases enemies. This shoots an arrow that penetrates enemies, almost like Yondu's arrow from like Guardians of the Galaxy or something. This is just shoots a projectile. These orbit you, and then this one strikes a random enemy. So they're all like, you know, they're all very functionally different weapons. And I kind of want to keep up with that theme, but it's just getting increasingly hard because most weapons will generally just devolve down to shoot projectile, but projectile do something funky. And that's generally how it goes. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to stream for. I feel like this stream has been a whole, like, just nothing getting done. But it's more of like a just... It was more just to get me used to actually streaming. So probably in the next one we'll get more done. I mean, we got bits of the castle done, but like... It's one of those things where it's extremely hard to work on stuff like this and talk at the same time because you just get so distracted by everything. But yeah, something I want to do is probably remake the desert level. It's kind of boring. It's kind of just the first level but with sand. I was thinking with the desert level some kind of wind mechanic where it blows you, like it pushes the character. My god, that's skybox. Yeah, some kind of like wind mechanic that pushes you would definitely be fun. Because right now it's genuinely just the first level, but desert and dustier. Do you know what I mean? I really like the night theme for it though. Let me find that. This looks cool. I like this. Like the pyramids. Right. I'm not really sure what else to do on stream. This was mainly just a test to see if streaming and shit works. And you know, to also get my settings and stuff all perfect. Oop, I accidentally minimized that. Yeah, it was mainly just a test to get everything working. Beautiful stars. Yeah, see, I kind of want a galaxy to appear there. But then I realized if everything's taking place on different planets, I'm gonna have to somehow figure out what a galaxy would look like in relation to all these different planets, and I just, no. Maybe at some point. You know, I might be able to, like, I don't know, I could probably do something in Blender to render a galaxy and then do it at different points or something like that to have in the sky. But again, that's not really priority right now. Priority right now is getting stuff into the game and, you know, then polishing everything up. Just like completely going over everything, making sure that everything is, you know, as polished as it can be. Because I've pretty much finished the last demo version now is done. So everything that's going to be in the demo is in the demo. I don't want to do early access. Not interested in it. I just want to kind of finish the game and get it out. Which might end up meaning I'll do streams for a while, but then when it comes to actually needing to crack down on just doing a lot of the work, probably won't be streaming as much. But when it's just simple stuff like this, like placing barrels in a level or just explaining things, it's not too bad. But I just really do not want to do early access because I don't know how I personally don't really buy early access games unless I'm super invested. So I wouldn't want people to feel like they have to buy a early access game. Because at the end of the day, people don't have to buy it, but you know, it's one of those things. Early access games are very people are very suspicious about early access at the moment. Well, they have been for like maybe a couple of years because there's a lot of games that just do that. That's alright, streaming can be seasonal and for live feedback. Yeah, exactly. It's good. It's really good for live feedback. It was something I really enjoyed when I used to do mapping streams, was as the person making it, you tend not to see like mistakes. So it's nice to look in chat and be like, oh shit, I can't believe I missed that. Do you know what I mean? So it's really good. It's also just nice to talk to people and to just get more information about the game out there. That's fun. That's always nice. I'm not sure about the little engineer in the corner. I like him personally because it's you know, it's something there to, like, there's a static screen right now, but there's a little guy in the corner talking. So it's, you know, something's happening, you know what I mean? YouTube is telling me stream health is poor. I don't know what that means, but I will figure that out at some point. But yeah, streaming's fun. And that's it. That's the gist of it, really. I like NG. Yeah, I literally booted up Source Filmmaker after, like, you know, God knows how long of not using it, and I was like, right, let's make a little NG, and I found some cool cosmetics for him, and, you know, just literally put him together. He's got the tinfoil hat and everything. So I was just and then I was looking all over for a program that wasn't super complicated, that will just change a PNG when I talk. And this one does it fine. It green screens it and everything for stream, so. But it's nice. It's almost like, you know, it's just something that's there. So, something else I also want to add at some point is legendary chests. So right now we've got regular chests, and then we've got medium chests, and then we have boss chests, which are on fire. Legendary chests will just basically have a guaranteed chance to drop a legendary. Whereas this has a guaranteed chance to drop a rare item and a slight chance for a legendary, and this can drop any of them, but will probably drop a common or rare one. And then this one always drops a rare item and always drops when a boss is killed. But a legendary chest is something I want to do. I might even do some 3D modeling streams, actually. Just while I'm modeling some assets and things, so that's definitely something to look at in the future. I'm currently looking at getting a second monitor, so I don't have to wrestle with only having one and not being able to have like chat on one, and then, you know, it would be insanely nice. So I think I'm gonna go to like a charity shop and buy like I saw a monitor for, I think it was £8, and I wanted it, but it was a VGA, and I don't think my computer has that. Or it might, but no, I can't be bothered. So I'm definitely just gonna be on the eye out for like a really cheap one, because I could have chat on one, or I could have, you know, I could have multiple Unreal Engine things open at the same time and things like that. Makes streaming a little bit easier on my part. Yeah, it is fun to stream. I do enjoy it. I'm trying to think, what else did I want to get done on stream or talk about? I'm not sure. It was mainly just this stream was just to test, see if it works, get everything sorted, get everything set up correctly, and just kind of to talk about the game a little bit, because it's kind of like a, you know, it's I put a little bit of, like, I put videos out about the game. I don't generally put out videos where I talk about the game though. That's not, so that should you know. And then if you're not part of the Discord, then you're just, you know, kind of out the loop a little bit with the game. That's a good thing to mention, actually. We have the Discord in the description, or it should be in the description of this video. Good thing to join. I'm basically always chatting in there, or putting little bits of the game in there, or things like that. As for like a time where I think the game will be out, I don't want to say anything yet, because I just I feel like as soon as people are like, yeah, the game will be out in, you know, 6 months, the game, you know, it's been 5 years, no game. So it's just, I don't want to jinx myself with it, because I know shit happens, especially with game dev. If you think something's going to take 6 months, no, it's taken 2 years. That's just how it works. You double or even triple the time you think it's going to take you to do something, because it takes that long. But I'm hoping, at least by the end of the year, the game will be fully out. Hoping. Like I said, I don't want to do early access. One, people just generally don't go for it. Unless they're super invested in the game, they're not going to bother wasting money on something that might never be finished. Because that's generally, a lot of early access games end up being that. So I just don't want to do that. If, you know, if people want to buy the game, they'll buy the full game when it comes out. That's how that is. The demo exists. There is plenty of content in the demo. I think I went a little bit overboard with just the amount of stuff that exists in the demo. It's a lot. I just couldn't help myself. I'd add something really cool and I'd be like, ah man, I want people to play that. So I'd put it in the demo. But the actual full game will have a lot more content, obviously. Something I also need to focus down is, like, bosses need to be a little bit harder, because right now it's basically just don't stand still. If you keep moving, the bosses won't kill you. I want, you know, something a little bit different. Like the final boss, I want the gimmick with the final boss is to, like, copy all the items you have or some shit like that. So yeah, you could get extremely overpowered and make it to the final boss, but then the final boss has all your items as well and is just also insanely overpowered. Things like that. I love things like that. So it's definitely something, like, I need to rewrite the item system, because right now the item system uses set variables to change set variables on the player. And that's just not general enough. It's not like I can give an enemy an item right now, because the item only affects the player variables. Whereas I should probably just make it a component and shot that on shit rather than, you know. And it's the same with debuffs as well. They do affect both players and enemies, because both a player and an enemy can get set on fire. And it's kind of like that. That's how I need to structure it. So it's just something I'm going to have to, you know, go and redo. And it will be a pain, because there are over 30 items in the game that I probably need to remake just for that to work. But all in the hopes of having a better structured program, to be honest. Because I really want to be able to give enemies items. That would be just amazing. It would be so cool to have. Like, I'm thinking of adding modifiers into the game, which will basically just change something about the run that you're doing. So I don't know, for example, the item thing. Every stage enemies get a new item. Things like that. That's the kind of thing that I want to have in the game, and it's just not possible right now with the current system. I mean, the current item system, I wrote that before most of the stuff in the game even existed, so it was just, I couldn't plan for it because it didn't exist. Like, a lot of enemies didn't exist, and just the way the game was just not the same when items were first added, which was only like, I think like 4 months ago I added items. The game's just kind of come along really quickly because I was working on a game before this, which was basically like an Ultra Kill Quake clone. And I never finished it. It had a Steam page and everything. I didn't take any money or anything like that for it, but I just didn't finish it because it was it bloated in size completely. I think I made a couple levels, but it was taking me like almost a month per level, and the game was going to have like 20 levels, and then it was like taking me ages, and the code I did like 6 months prior was so shit, and it was just completely fucking it over. So I just completely abandoned that, and I was like, right, I need to make something simple. And it was this game. This is the simpler game, which it is. It's definitely a lot simpler than a lot of the other things I was trying to do, and I enjoy that. It's fun. Nowadays, I don't really add much to the code. Like I said, I need to redo the items, obviously, but to add a new item, it's not necessarily coding or blueprinting. It's more just adding it. It takes longer to put the 3D models in the engine than it does to actually make the item. And as for levels, a lot of the time it's just, just sitting and doing it, really. But yeah, it was fun doing this little stream. I'll try and schedule it on YouTube. I'll see if that works next time. So it's not as abrupt. It's not like, oh my god, we're live now. Like, it's, it'll be scheduled. You can click on it for the time or whatever, however that works. I think it just kind of gives you a countdown or something, doesn't it? But yeah, that's it for this stream. Now I need to figure out how to actually end a stream. Let's go. Have a good one, Apple King. It was nice doing this stream. I shall see you all whenever the next stream is, whenever that happens to be. Join the Discord. I'll probably put it in that. Alright, see ya.